2006 Ford Mustang. It came into me, it was towed into me because it ran out of coolant and it wouldn't start. The first thing I found, let me show you. The coolant thermostat housing was split apart right here, and it was leaking out of there like a sieve. So I got that fixed, and then I got it running and found out the reason this probably blown out is it ran all the antifreeze out, and this just got hot and warped because the water pump's out. So let's slap a water pump in there real quick. Let's see how we got to do it. I've never done one. It's a 4-liter. It's the V6, and she's got a little mess too, so we'll work on that afterwards. I think let's just get all this stuff out of the way. It looks like this hose will just pull right off. Get the air duct off here. Next, let's get the belt. Looks like I just take a 3/8 ratchet. You know what? Before the belt, let's loosen the pulley. All right, I went and grabbed the drain pan too. So yeah, you want to loosen this pulley while you got the belt on there. All right, we're loose. Let's get the belt off. So we will mark the direction on that belt, and what I do, I just put a little arrow towards the front of the car, and you can't screw it up then. Alright, let's get that pulley off next. Gotta go the other way. That's stuck on there. Let's use a screwdriver. I hate to use this screwdriver, but yeah, it wasn't that tight. Set that up over here. So next, let's get the hose clamps loose. And it doesn't look too bad. Now the one hose clamp for the lower hose is a little hidden. We'll have to figure that one out because I'm not on the hoist. I'm right in front of the doorway. I'll get her now. I'll slide that down. Got one right here. I think that's good enough. Now for that bottom one, I'm just gonna use my cotter key extractor. It's a little Craftsman one, and I'm just gonna try to maneuver that clamp. Alright, so second thoughts on that. I cannot get that clamp to move around. So let's get all the bolts out of the water pump, and then we'll move the water pump this way, and then we should be able to get it. And next, we'll put it on so we can get at it from the front when we're done. So let's get this hose off here. Looks like a little heater hose. I got that. Let's get all these bolts out. Looks like they're, if we're going right into the pan, that's a good thing. Looks like they're all 6mm, which is an 8mm socket. Get this guy in there. I'm gonna go get a shorter bit. That's just being a little awkward. Let's get the electric ratchet in there. Power steering line's in the way of that one. Alright, we got my little flex socket. Alright, broke her loose. I'll have to get her out with my fingers. There's a couple on the other side. That one went down into the pan. I think 2 went in the pan. There's one down here in the bottom middle. There's another one right down there. Alright, slid her off that hose. Let's get the other hose off. Got my slip joint pliers from Harbor Freight, and it's still going strong. Use it every day. She went right into antifreeze. Oh, let's get that stuff out of that antifreeze down there. There's one of the bolts. I think there's about 3 of them down there. Where's my pliers? Alright, let's get that. That hose clamp is pretty heavy duty. Is it Ford's that they like to rust away? I don't remember. Alright, there, I got it slid down. Let's see if we can get this hose to break loose. Yep, we can. It's like we got ourselves a... Yep, she was leaking right out of here. Right there. So it's got like a great big opening. She's running right down. Yeah, the bearing's a little loose and I can hear it. You know, I really like this gasket, but we're not going to be able to reuse that. Yeah, it's on there really good, but that came off really nice and clean, the gasket. Alright, let's clean it all up. We still got some bolts down in that coolant. You know, this is going to be pretty easy to clean up. There's not much on there. So I think the best way, you know, it's not, let's just take a super scraper, a carbide, and let's just scrape it a little bit, and then we'll get some Scotch-Brite on it. So I just got this from O'Reilly's. It's a Titan. So I'd say that blade's like 1 1/8, but this thing is sharp, really, really sharp. I can't remember, it was like 30-some bucks. So anytime you're doing aluminum, you want to be really careful not to gouge it. So I'm just kind of back dragging it and being real careful. It's pretty clean. Alright, let's take some Scotch-Brite. So I just got a little piece, and I've been reusing this piece for quite a while. And we'll just rub on there all the way around it. Alright, that looks good to me. Let's get the new one, and I got a O'Reilly's. It's a Master Pro, and it was the cheapest one. So you can say what you want, but that's what I do. Here's the number. So it comes with a new pump and a new gasket. So let's kind of do what they did. Let's make sure it sticks on this side. So let's get a little high tack, and then we'll stick this gasket to that side. Make sure we get it orientated right, just like that. I don't know if Ford did that or if somebody else has put one on, but it worked out really good for us. So let's do the same thing for them. This will definitely assure that this side of the gasket will not leak ever. Just really light. Just paint it on there. Don't get none into the water jacket. Looks good to me, and see, this will make sure our gasket stays aligned when we're going back on. So that's the other benefit. So we'll just give that a second to tack up, and it'll only take a second. Just kind of press it on there and hold it on there, and okay. I still have some bolts down there in the pan, so I'm going to get them out right now. The other bolt was on the floor. Okay, so I think we can go ahead. Let's just take a rag and wipe all around where this bolt's on. Now we should be ready. So the trickiest part's going to be getting it up in this hose. This one right here. I'm really close. See if I can get a bolt started. For some reason I cannot. So what we got to do is we got to grab this clamp and then push her up. Oh man, this thing is being that was just uncalled for. Now you get a different pliers. I shot my clamp all the way around. Oh no, it's right here. Okay. I do got one of them clamp pliers. Let's go back to the Harbor Freight. I think I got her now. So now you see why we glued the gasket on the right. got one started. Let's get one started on this other side. Alright, got two started. I think I'm going to get my little magnetic bit. Now here's a long one. This is not the one we were using. Now I'm just going to get them all started. There we go. So we'll just get them all started by hand. Then we'll get them all snugged up. And I suppose we could torque them. Just two more left. Now I can't see where they go. Of course, you guys can't either. Alright, that's not working. Let's just try to use my fingers. There's one. This other one goes right next to the inlet, right? That's the inlet. I think I got it. Okay. Alright, I got a small ratchet. Just gonna get them all kind of snugged up. I dropped a small ratchet. Just trying this one that's blocked by the power steering line. Alright, they're all snugged up. Let's grab our torque wrench. Let's kind of start in the middle. And then we'll work our way to the outside. So I'm going top to bottom, starting in the middle. Oh, 89 inch-pounds seems not enough torque. Let's set her up a little bit. Yeah, we're at 89. That's not enough. Let's just go one full turn. That's 110. $110 feels a lot better. Let's grab this other one that we just did. Let's just work our way outwards. Down to the bottom. Alright, I'm going to grab that wall socket. Alright, now I'm just going to work my way all the way around it a couple times, make sure they feel like they're tight. They still at 110 inch-pounds do not feel tight enough. Yeah, it's. I feel maybe it's almost tight enough. 110. Kind of use your own judgment. Don't go too much tighter than 110. Alright, there's been once around. Okay, twice around, and somewhere around 110, maybe 115 is where I'm getting them. So we got the top clamp done. Let's get the heater hose on there, the lower hose, and the pulley. Alright, let's move this clamp. I'm gonna have to squeeze it to move it. Alright, there we're nice right in the front. Let's get them clamps on there. Alright, real good on that one. I'm gonna go get a different pliers. I went and got one of my old Craftsman. It's got some grooves in it. Like I said, I got all the hose clamp pliers. I just use the regular ones. Alright, we got all the hoses on, all the bolts are tight. Let's get that pulley on there. So an easy way I've always learned to do is just set one of the bolts straight up. See, it lines up every time. There we go. Let's get all these finger tight. Make sure we're lined up on the hub. The other thing you want to do is, once you got her bolted in there tight, make sure she spins over without hitting anything. Sometimes that'll happen. Got a little thread protector on here. We can get that off because it'll just fly off later. But just make sure she spins over. It's not making any noise. Real nice. Let's get that belt on there. Let's see if we remember how we got it on there, or how we took it off. And I don't remember, but it looks like it goes around the crankshaft down here, around this water pump, back around the power steering, onto the air conditioning. Oh boy. I don't know, but I think that's it. There we go. Let's get that ratchet. I believe that's it. I suppose it would be possible to put it on the wrong way, but I'm going with that. So now, let's get the electric ratchet on them pulley bolts, and then we'll figure out a way to get them even tighter. should be about 40 foot-pounds. Looks like the light died. I think we're done with it anyways. So let me know if any of you guys have ever left the pulley bolts loose. I know I have a couple times. So we're just going to put our pry bar on there, get our long wrench. That's tight enough on that one. Tight enough on that one. Alright, one more. Alright, we got her tight. So I'm just using my gear wrench 120 XPs, and they got a nice little, how can I say it? Yeah, they're like that, but they're this kind of drive. So they're not a true 12 point. I don't know what they call that drive, but sometimes that's just not the best, I've noticed. The little ratchet end's the same way. But for the most part, that works pretty good. Alright, let's go ahead and get this bad boy back on there. Slide this hose on there. There we go. Alright, let's get some coolant in her, and then we'll go wash it off and take it for a test drive. So I'll set you guys back a little bit. So we're gonna screen our coolant. So we got a little funnel, aluminum foil on there. So I put my funnel in the jug. That's just an empty jug, and then I got one of these. I don't know how many microns that is, but it's some kind of micron screen. Grab our coolant. It doesn't look too bad. I hear some thunder out there. Alright, there we filled up that gallon. Let's just pour that right in there. I got one more pan underneath. See if the magnet can grab it. It's a metal pan. I don't know about you guys, but I keep all my pans clean. Like after I get done using them, I clean them every time. Alright, let's get this in there. we are in Minnesota, and it is gonna freeze soon. So, and I don't know. This is the first time I've worked on this car. Let's make sure this antifreeze is good for freeze protection. So we'll fill her all the way up full. I'll plug the in. Looks like she's right at -40. It's perfect. Alright, I can hear it gurgle a little bit. This thing doesn't need to be bled out very much on this car. She pretty much bleeds herself out. We will need a little more. I think I'm going to go ahead and get it running. So I'll get it running and I'm going to turn the heater on hot. Now the belt did get a little antifreeze on it, but it'll be okay. We'll wash it off too. Alright, I'm going to drive it over so we can wash it off. It's starting to rain a little bit. So here I might as well show you what I did. I collect some rainwater and my condenser water from my air conditioning up there. And then I bought that pump with a pressure tank on it and a switch and everything. And I got it filtered, so I'm filtering it before it gets into the pump, which it works. I don't know if you're supposed to do it that way. But I got some water. So this water works good for batteries and antifreeze. And it's free. Alright, got her soaked down really good. Let's go for a test drive. Yeah, you guys want to see how far this thing can spray? So, here we go. That's a good 25 feet right there. Good pressure. Yeah, I'm so proud of my little water system here. Let's go for a test drive. But I switched the spark plug out on it. Let's just see if that makes any difference. If it don't, it's got to be the wire or the coil or something. Alright, so we want to turn our heater on. I got her on vent, we got her on hot. We want to keep an eye on our temperature gauge. I don't know if this car has automatic headlights or not. Let's turn our headlights on. Alright, feel some heat coming. If you don't have any heat coming, you got an air bubble in her. Alright, we're good to go. Alright, I'll try not to get on it too hard. Yeah, it was a spark plug. I don't feel any misses. Well, first I pulled the wire off at the coil. Well, first I scanned it and found out it was cylinder number 4, so that's the front one on the driver's side. And then I pulled the wire off and it's sparking. I gotta turn the heater down. Yeah, it's complaining about my seatbelt now. Alright, so yeah, I pulled the wire off at the coil and it's sparking up there, so I popped that back on. I got a little fuse puller pliers. It's insulated so I don't get jolted. So then I'm like, well, I'll pull out the spark plug, and you know, it looks a little damp, like it's got a miss in it. So I'm like, well, it's either the spark plug. I know it's a spark plug or a coil or a wire or something. So I guess it was the spark plug, and they're original. So that's looking to let the guy know he needs new wires and plugs. But all right, I keep losing you guys, but hopefully we ain't got anybody behind us. Yeah, we'll look like we're good. Speed back up here. Yeah, you guys fell over again. But anyways, yeah, so then I went for the spark plug. And I found a used one out of my collection. And I have a lot of spark plugs, and I kind of save them if they look good for things like this, for diagnostic purposes. I know one thing, we need to get the defrost on. Yeah, that cleared it right up. And it's very hot in here. So we're running about halfway on the temperature gauge. We're at the spot now where I turn around. You know, this thing almost feels like you got to press on the brake pedal pretty hard. Almost feels like the old manual brakes, but it is a Mustang. And they do everything pretty cheap on these, at least they used to. I think we'll go after this truck, and we're going to give her some juice. Let's see what she feels like as far as that miss. Alright, that's good. Yeah, there's no miss now. We got her. It was a spark plug. And I'm going to leave my used spark plug in there because it was running like poop. And the guy will be happy, but I'm going to make him come back and get a tune-up on this. After a little 4-liter, she gets up and scoots there a little bit. It is customer's car, but we did have to see if it's missing. I got to roll up the window. The rain's coming in a little bit. Turn these wipers back on. All right, so there you got her. It didn't take us very long to do that water pump at all. I'll go back. I'll make sure it ain't leaking anywhere and make sure she's full on coolant. Nice little Mustang here, 2006. What do we got for miles? 84,000 miles. Nice little car. She runs down the road just perfectly. Oh, there goes Michelle. All right, so I can get this one finished up and get the guy coming. This main driver right here, he wants her. He was a little bit concerned it wouldn't start back up after she blew all the antifreeze out. I don't know why it wouldn't start back up either. But the tow truck brought it here and they tried to start it, wouldn't start. I bring it in the next day, it starts right up. But that's what always happens, right? You bring it to the shop and the problem never shows up. I mean, of course I knew what the problem was. She blew all the antifreeze out. Now we got her fixed up. I'm pretty sure there's no air bubbles. The temperature gauge is running right in the middle. We got heat. And we even fixed the mist for them. All right, guys. Hopefully, yeah, it's Friday today, so hopefully you guys are having a good Friday. You're all working hard, and maybe take off early. I got a couple more cars to fix, so ain't no taking off early today for me. Yeah. Thanks for watching. You can catch me next time.